Hello everyone, it's Gladius. Today we're going over Herbalism. I'm going to talk about a specialization that's going to get you gathering while you're still on your mount. This pairs very nicely if you're also doing mining. Not only will you be able to mine nodes while you're on your mount, but you'll also be able to gather herbs as well. This is going to speed up your farm, have you collecting resources really quickly, and just overall really improve your output for your gathering professions. Before we get into that, everyone, first, if you decide at the end of this video that this was helpful to you in some way, please heroic strike that like button. And if you want to stay up to date with WoW content and gaming content in the future, please slam the subscribe. All right, let's get into it.
All right, let's start taking a look at the specialization tree to start planning our build. First thing to mention, starting at level 25, you're going to gain your first specialization. You're going to get to choose one of the three choices in the specialization tab. Now, your first one unlocks at 25, but you also get another one at 50 and 100 respectively. The first one we're going to be taking a look at today is botany. Botany is really important. It's kind of like mining process for miners, where by maxing out a node in this tree, you're able to mine or gather while you're on your mount. This cuts down a lot on your travel time and your mounting up time. It's just all around just a really good quality of life thing to pick up as soon as you can. So start with the botany tree. Now, I'm going to go over a great starting build, and then I'm going to give you a couple ideas of where you can go after that. All right, so let's go ahead and take this first node, or first specialization. We're going to click on Learn Specialization, and now we have unlocked botany. So now we're going to head on over, and we're going to take a look at what we can do, or what all we get from the botany node here. First, you get deafness while gathering herbs. You get to learn your sub-specialization of your choice here. And then we get to learn more perception, finesse, the final sub-specialization, deafness. And then finally, this is the node that unlocks the ability to be able to gather while you're on your mount. Plus, it gives you a bonus to perception as well. So not bad at all. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put 10 points in botany right away. This is going to unlock our first 2 breakpoints. So the rank 10 is where we're able to choose our first sub-specialization. It's important that at rank 10, we choose our sub-specialization because we're going to get the additional bonus from just unlocking the sub-specialization. No knowledge needs to be applied. You get the immediate bonus as soon as you unlock it. So let's start taking a look at those specializations right now. First, cultivation is going to improve your cultivation skill, gaining +1 perception per point in this specialization while gathering herbs. So we know cultivation is going to focus on perception. And then if we look at this one, conversance, this one is going to improve our deafness. So we have to make our choice based on which one's better for us. Let's take a clip from my mining guide really quick to explain a breakdown on how each of the stats work with the gathering professions. Your profession items are either going to have deafness, finesse, or perception on them. Deafness speeds up your mining. You can think of it just how quickly you're able to extract ore from a node. Finesse allows you to actually find more inside of a node. Finally, perception helps you find the more rare reagents inside of the node. The clear standout of these three, for me at least, is perception. Perception allows you to find those rare reagents. And I know from experience with blacksmithing, one of my major hangups is not getting enough Kazarite ore. So if I can extract more Kazarite ore by having higher perception, then that's what I'm going to focus on. All right, so welcome back to Herbalism here. So we determined that perception is our best stat for both of the gathering professions. So that means we're going to go with cultivation for our first sub-specialization unlock because it gives us extra perception. This is once again going to help us find the more rare items inside of the nodes. As we know from that clip just a moment ago, that's kind of the big bottleneck with a lot of the professions is getting those rare materials. So let's find them more often. So we're going to click on cultivation. We're going to learn cultivation. Again, no knowledge needs to be applied here. We just wanted to unlock it so we get that bonus just for learning the specialization. Now let's jump back up to botany. As you might have guessed, we're going to continue our path of just going all the way through botany. So let's go ahead and rank it up until we get to unlock our next specialization, which is going to be at rank 30. All right, so we got to 30. Our second sub-specialization has unlocked, and we're just going to go ahead and pick conversance. It's our only choice. Deafness, again, is not bad. It feels good to be able to pick up things faster, but it's not as good as the other two. No knowledge, once again, needs to be applied. We're going to return back to botany, and then we're going to level this the rest of the way up. So all the way to 40 this time. All right, once we've arrived at 40, at this point, you're able to gather on your mount. This is a big step, and it's going to help you a lot. You're going to notice immediately you're able to gather a lot faster than you were before. Now, something else that's important to know is that at some point, you're going to reach Herbalism level 50 as you continue gathering. At that point, you're able to pick up Mastering the Elements. That's the one I suggest going for because it's going to give you a skill. Again, this is very similar to mining, where you're able to empower each of the different types of herbs. You're able to empower the elementally enhanced herbs that you come across as you're mining. These are the ones that tend to drop the more rare items. They're harder to find, and they also each have a special effect or special, I guess, mini event that happens when you find them and when you mine them. There's a thorn bush that's going to make you bleed for a lot of damage. There's going to be a windswept herb that's going to knock you off a cliff. It did it to me several times. Because what it does is after you pick it, it's just going to throw your character in a couple random directions right afterwards. It came in handy. I was using my evoker for my Herbalism character because I was able to glide to make sure I didn't take immense fall damage. It still got me in trouble though, where it threw me into an elite pack on my level 60 evoker. And you're also going to run into an ice herb, for example, that's going to put down a frozen ice patch on the ground. If you stay on that too long, it will freeze you solid and you'll be CC'd. These are kind of like fun flavor events, and it makes the profession interesting for sure. So anyway, all that to say, we want to go ahead and jump in and click Learn Specialization on Mastering the Elements. Again, no knowledge needs to be applied here. We get the spell by just learning the specialization. So you're going to do that after you reach Herbalism level 50. Now, at this point, we can start making our decisions on what we want to do. We already finished with botany. We got the really good node out of botany because we're now able to mine while we're on our mount. The choices you make after this are going to depend on your profession. I'll go ahead and give you generally a good idea to take a look at. If you head over to Mastering the Elements, remember when I was talking about all those mini events that happen whenever you're mining or whenever you're gathering? Well, this is going to give you a way to deal with those a little bit more effectively. But also it's going to help you get more out of those rare nodes that are hard to find. So I'm going to head on over to Mastering the Elements. This is the first node that's at the top of the tree. So this is going to give us more skill while we're mining or picking herbs. But what I'm most interested in is, again, maxing out this first node so that I'm able to get all the sub-specializations. I want to empower my ability to interact with each one of these different elemental nodes by maxing this out. Because look, you're able to unlock a sub-specialization about every 10 points until you unlock each one. And then the end of it, you're able to gather more elemental essence from elementally charged herbs. So this is basically, you can think of it as giving a huge boost to perception whenever you find one of these. And again, perceptions are key. We want to find those rare the rare ores, the rare herbs. We want to find all these rare things from our nodes. We want to get more out of them. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to go ahead and put 5 points into Mastering the Elements. And then we're going to go ahead and pick our first sub-specialization. We're going to get each one of these. You can kind of choose whichever one is most important to your profession. So if there's a particular rousing element that is most beneficial to your profession, go ahead and lead with that one. But for this example, I'm just going to start with Decayed. So I learned Decayed. And again, no knowledge needs to be applied. I just learned specialization. We're going to return back to Mastering the Elements, and we're going to keep adding more points to it until we unlock another specialization. This is going to happen at rank 15. So then you can choose again which other one is going to be important to yours. I'm going to go ahead and go with Titan Touched for the second one. And then you might have guessed it, we're back to the original node and we're going to level up to level 25 to get to the next sub-specialization. Now we're going to go ahead and pick the next one. I'm going to go with frigid, return to the original, and then we're going to level it up once again to reach the final sub specialization. And now we're going to be able to pick up windswept. This one was my nemesis while leveling up my herbalism. It threw me off a cliff so many times. And then finally, to get more out of our elementally charged herbs, we're going to go ahead and go on up to 40. We're going to go all the way up and then max that node out. Now, at this point, we have spent 80 knowledge in our tree. This is going to be a good starting point where now we can start looking at specifics towards our profession. I would suggest, just like before when you made a selection in these choices here based on your profession and which rousing you need, I would focus on the one that you need the most, the one you usually use. And I think each profession is going to usually need a lot of 2 certain rousing. They'll need every single one, but one of them is going to appear most often. So go ahead and take a look at your specific second profession and then see which one is going to benefit you the most. And then I would focus on that node. But for a starter build, for getting started, this is going to let you gather while you're mounted. You're going to get to empower those nodes for way more loot dropped from them when you mine them or when you gather them. All right, now let's talk about some other options. All the other options are going to start with maxing out the botany node. And of course, when you're able to grab cultivation. And nothing changes about when you reach level 50. Make sure as soon as you reach level 50, you make your choice on if you want to go bountiful harvests or if you want to go mastering the elements. I broke down the advantage of mastering the elements before. It's my opinion that bountiful harvests is not as strong as mastering the elements, but you can make your choice here. So in this second build as well, I'm still going to grab mastering the elements just so I get access to that spell that lets me overload an elemental herb. But instead of leveling this up, I'm going to return back to the botany tree. So I'm at 40 on the botany node, and then I'm going to go down to cultivation, and I'm going to work on leveling this one up next. Let's get a breakdown of what we get for cultivation. Perception bonus, propagated seeds start appearing, decayed seeds sometimes appear, agitated seeds will then appear, and then this one is going to allow you to just find all seeds more often. So these seeds are going to be used for a variety of professions, and it's nice to have access to these. So another strong choice would be to go with cultivation and max this one out. This is going to unlock the ability for us to find all seeds while we're gathering. And then at this point, I would move on to mastering the elements. You can make your own decisions though. Every profession and secondary profession is going to be different. And based on your specific goals, your choices might even be different than the choices I made here. However, if you're just stuck on trying to find a path to go down, this is a strong choice for getting a lot more out of your herbing. And don't forget, once you get to level 100, go ahead and unlock Bountiful Harvest as well. Again, no knowledge is wasted on any of these other sub-specializations, or if it's one you're not wanting to go into, you're not wasting any knowledge. You just need to click the button to unlock it, and then you get the base level benefits of just having access to that tree. All right, well, that gives you a couple ideas for where to start with herbing. Let me know if you have any other ideas in the comment section below. Now, when it comes to gearing, the gear choices for your herbalism is going to be identical to the mining one, just with different names. Let's take a look at a clip from my mining guide. The same rule applies when we're talking about mining gear. We're looking for gear that has perception on it. So your ore satchel slot and your helmet slot are both going to have set attributes based on the recipe. So you're always going to have some value of finesse on your ore satchel, and you're always going to have some value of deafness and perception. Of course, the higher item level, the more of those secondary stats you get on the item. You can provide a missive to guarantee the secondary stat that you get on your mining tool. And then you can enchant it further with more perception.
Okay, once again, if this was helpful to you in some way, please heroic strike that like button and slam the subscribe for more WoW content in the future. I appreciate your time today. I hope you all have a great one, and I'll see you in the next one.